Welcome to the Teach Joyfully podcast, where we talk about all things elementary teaching with some mom stuff thrown in. I'm Lisa Burns, a veteran teacher and teacher success coach, and I'll be your host. Thanks for joining me. Now, let me set the stage today because I have a guest here today, and you're going to want to really hear what she has to say. Now, as a teacher, sometimes you don't make a lot of money. Depends on your district and the school that you're in. If you're in a small school or if you're in a very poor district maybe that doesn't pay their teachers a whole lot, then you're going to need extra money, and depending on where you teach. So the financial situation might be a little bit different. Maybe you've recently become a mom, and once you become a mom, you're faced with all those questions, and one of them is, will you still work or will you stay home with your kids for a bit? And there can be pressure from everyone's side. Everyone's got an opinion on that, and you have to make those decisions. Whether or not you need money or you just need a little bit more income, or maybe you want to stay home with your kids, but teaching isn't something you want to completely give up. There are other options. So today's conversation is all about that. And I'm all about options, so here we go. My guest today is Loren Deitrich. We'll be talking about how our journey as teachers and teacher moms can take some surprising turns. Loren is a wife, a mom of 2 young boys, and an elementary teacher. She was born and raised in North Carolina, where she taught elementary school for 10 years, mostly in first and second grades. In 2016, her husband took a job that relocated their family to Montana, and that's where things got interesting. Loren, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you. So, Loren, 3 years ago, you arrived in Montana and suddenly had an option to stay home with your own little kiddos. Let's talk about how that happened.
I did. I taught elementary school for 10 years when I lived in North Carolina, and it's something I always wanted to do. I was the kindergarten student who, when asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be a teacher. I knew it, played with my stuffed animals. My little sister became my student. I made pretend grade books, pretend lesson plans. I did the gamut. I remember going to college and having to declare my major and kind of had a little panic attack of, do I really want to be a teacher? Like, that's all I've ever known. Who really grows up to be what they want to be when they're in kindergarten? But it has truly what I'm meant to do. But yes, when we moved here to Montana, I had a 2-year-old son at the time and kind of took it as an opportunity to stay home with him. And I began to nanny to kind of make up for the loss of my income, nanny some little boys, and started looking elsewhere and found VIPKid. And for a year, I had submitted my application and did nothing with it. Kind of didn't know what it was about. And my mom knew a girl that did it and took a phone call with her, asked her my 101 million questions that I had about the company and kind of how it was run and how it worked. Did they really pay you? All of the questions I had. And she convinced me to give it a try. And here it is almost 3 years later. And I do not regret it at all. The income has been great. The freedom has been great. Do not regret it. It has definitely been a blessing to me.
Wow. So nannying, and I think you do some tutoring as well, and then VIPKid. And that makes it possible for you to stay home and still teach too, which is really exciting, isn't it?
It is. I love it. Teaching has not gone out the window for me just because I've stayed home.
Yeah, I think for a lot of teachers, staying home, they feel like you're losing a part of yourself too. So being able to do both really is an incredible blessing, I think. Okay, yeah, once a teacher, always a teacher, right?
You can't take it out of me.
No, I know. I'm the same way.
No.
It's really true. Okay, so there's lots of teachers who'd love to earn some extra money or stay home with their own kiddos. So tell me about VIPKid. Just tell me first, what is VIPKid?
VIPKid is a company that allows teachers in the United States and Canada to teach Chinese children English online. And they do so in a way that is very stress-free to teachers. When you think of all the lesson plans that teachers have to do in the classroom, VIPKid does it for you. They provide you with PowerPoint-like slides, directions on what to do. So that kind of stressful piece that honestly took up a lot of my time outside of the classroom, because I did not have time during the school day to really get those lesson plans going.
Right.
VIPKid takes that piece out. What I love is, even though they give you that piece of the puzzle, the lesson plans, I still have the freedom to teach the way that I want to. I can make my own props to show the kids, do my own actions, teach to that specific child, just like you would in a classroom.
Nice.
So yes, in essence, the company allows an English-speaking teacher to teach Chinese children how to speak English, and all the way from 4 years old to, I believe they go probably middle school, high school. But the elementary teacher in me teaches the young ones.
Nice. Okay. So you say they give you all the slides. So there's no prep work other than, kind of glance through and make sure you know what you're teaching and get some props and things ready so that you can help the student along. Okay. So do students know any English?
I teach the very beginning kids, and VIPKids will test the kids before coming in and put them at a level. I have had students who know virtually no English. My little 4-year-olds usually know nothing. And it's amazing to watch them grow. VIPKid, when you're kind of learning how to teach, because I will be honest, the way you teach a Chinese student to speak English is not how you would teach a child to read in America. The technique's a little different just because it's a new language.
Well, and it's online too. So doing it online, so you've got, two things against you, really.
Yes, you do. But the students a lot of times do come in with no English knowledge or very little what their parents know. The teacher uses a lot of, they call it TPR, total physical response, a lot of body language, and very, very minimal speaking, honestly. If you're teaching a word, maybe farm animals, cow, horse, you're just going to speak those words, do an action with them, show the pictures, but you're going to leave out any kind of extra verbiage so not to confuse the child.
Okay. So question for you then. You get some students at that level, but then obviously students start learning English. So then you also have students who are at different levels. So can you choose which level you want to teach?
Yes. So actually, I was just looking into that. I am certified to teach the level 1 and level 2 students.
Okay.
They go upwards, and a teacher has the freedom to certify to teach whatever level they want. When you are first interviewing, you'll do a pretend class lesson.
Okay.
The mentor that you are interviewing with will kind of place you either upper level or lower level and certify you for that level. And then once you've been certified, you can broaden your certifications as much as you'd like.
Got it. So lots of options then too.
A lot of options.
Okay. And sounds like you have quite a bit of control in your lessons. So I think one of the concerns that I hear about some of this is it seems like it's very rote. It doesn't do the things that we know about language and all of this, but it sounds actually quite the opposite.
It is. I have not, in my lower level, I have heard some of the upper levels have a couple of critiques with how the grammar is taught. But from a lower level, level 1, level 2 teacher, I think it's been wonderful. They teach it, and it's very scaffolded. So the vocabulary and lessons that are previously learned continue to repeat. And it's been wonderful. I have stuck with several students from level 1, and they followed me into level 2. And to watch them grow and remember what has been taught and continue on with that is great. I love it.
Wonderful. Cool. Okay, so when you say, all right, you use TPR, this total physical response, right? So you're acting things out and you're trying to kind of give them an idea of the words too, because some of them don't have a good idea of some of these words, right? So
Correct.
are you using props and pictures and other kinds of things in too as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So definitely a lot of TPR, total physical response. So if you're doing fly, most likely I want to have my arms out pretending to fly. If I'm blowing, you're going to see my lips blowing. A lot of action. I definitely have props to go as well. The level 1 students follow 2 characters named Meg and Mike, and they follow them to different countries. So each level within level 1 has a different country that they go to, and they will learn about the food of that country. They will learn about the actions of that country. They will learn about animals of that country. And Meg and Mike follow this map to all of these different countries. So the students kind of know what to expect in each lesson as well.
Nice.
As they follow Meg and Mike around the world.
Very cool. Very cool. And I like that it has some sort of continuity to it then too. And I'm sure that engages the students more as well.
It does. They, especially the little ones, enjoy following these characters around. And then each country that they go to has its own individual characters as well that they'll follow for those 8 lessons.
Nice. Nice. Okay. So would you say that this kind of teaching, this online full immersion TPR, is easier or harder than classroom teaching? Or is it just different?
Honestly, it's just different. When you're teaching 4 and 5-year-olds on a video screen, it can be hard to continue to keep their attention. Each lesson is 25 minutes long.
Oh, yeah.
You have some students who are able to focus for that 25 minutes. And then you have other students who are getting antsy. You can see them up and moving. Most of the time with the younger students, you'll have parents sitting off screen trying to refocus them.
Nice.
But that's not always the case. I've had students just run off camera and I'm not able to chase them. I'll occasionally say, Teacher Loren's still here, come on back. But when you're literally on the other side of the world, that kind of causes a little hardship there
Sure.
that you don't necessarily have in the classroom. However, in the classroom, you've got, sometimes up to 30 kids.
Right.
And VIPKid, it is one-on-one. So I only have that one student for 25 minutes that I can work with. And so if I have many that the lesson's just easy for them. They've got it. And so I'm able to say, okay, you've got this. Let's converse about it. Let's have a little conversation about it. Same way, you have students who the lesson's a little too hard. And so I will remediate the lesson for them and bring it down for their level, which is harder for doing with 30 kids at one time.
Yeah. Okay. So do you think that having been a classroom teacher has helped you in this situation? Or does it matter? Could you just have jumped in even if you hadn't been?
I definitely think the background in being a classroom teacher is very beneficial. Now, I will say there are people out there that have the innate ability with children that would be fine.
Sure.
But I definitely think the educational background is very beneficial just in knowing how to take a lesson to a different level that a student might need, how to keep the engagement with the student.
Sure. Okay. So what do you love about teaching this way? What are the benefits of teaching in this particular situation?
Oh, the benefits of VIPKid. There's so many. One, I can set my own hours. If I want to teach 1 class a week, awesome, I can do that. If I want to teach 30 classes a week, no problem, I can do it. It's completely up to me. On the teacher part of their website, they have what's called a teacher portal, and all I have to do is go to my calendar, open up whatever time slot I want, and then the students are able to see when I'm available. If a student actually wants me and I'm not opened during that time slot, they can request me and I can decide, yes, I definitely want to do it, or no. And then it has a list of reasons I'm not able to, or you can just choose, other option if you don't want to let them know why you're not able to teach. But being able to just have that flexibility to make my own hours, that could be the only benefit, and I would teach it. There's no minimum hours, which is amazing. A lot of the online teaching, you have to teach a certain amount of hours. VIPKid, there is no minimum. If I want to take a week off, nobody's going to say that I can't, which is wonderful.
Right.
You don't have to stick to that schedule. I don't have to know I have to teach 2 classes. Where am I going to fit that in when I jet off to the beach? I can just take those days off and have, no sweat off my back. Don't have to give written permission or anything like that. Take a vacation anytime I want to. I've actually taken several vacations, taken my laptop and worked while on vacation. Just to kind of keep that money rolling.
Sure.
I've actually taught during a birthday party one time. My son wanted to go to a birthday party. I didn't realize that I had scheduled a class, and I told the mom, is a friend of mine, I said, hey, we're going to come. We're either going to have to leave early so I can go back and teach, or I can steal away to your basement for 30 minutes. She's like, go to the basement. So I brought my laptop, taught a 30-minute class in the basement, and came back up to the birthday party.
Wow.
So that was, I kind of thought of it as went to the birthday party and made a little money too. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Again, can work from anywhere. Like I said, I've worked on vacation. I've taken it to the beach. I've taken it to birthday parties. You can make your schedule accommodate to you wherever, whenever you want to.
Right. Nice. So I love that there's no penalties too. So that's nice, because I have heard of some of these services that really do. They have requirements and minimum requirements and penalties if you don't. And that can get very frustrating. And I think that would be a real detriment to doing this, because part of what you're wanting, I think, is the flexibility too. Especially
just that freedom.
Well, especially if you're home with kids, or even if you're teaching in the classroom and you have a lot going on at school. There are times when it's just too much. You can't do one more thing. So,
exactly.
Okay. So then the other piece is, one of the great things about teaching is that you get to know your students and you really can develop those connections and all of that. So do you get repeat clients? Do people start looking for you and wanting to be with the same teacher? Do you find that? Or is it just always somebody new?
No, I should have printed out my statistics. But actually, let's see. I have taught 1,240 classes, but only 446 students. So while 446 sounds like a lot, I do actually have many, many students that repeat every week. I've got a little boy named Owen who I have followed from level 1 up to level 2. And again, they actually create English names for themselves a lot of times.
Right.
I have a lot of Elsas, which I love. A lot of Annas.
Oh, is that so sweet?
Little girls.
Yep.
I have a lot of students who continually teach, and I love it because it does become not just a job, but it becomes personal. Right. And I love being greeted, hey, good morning. Or actually, it's not usually good morning. It's a morning for me and usually evening for them. They're about to go to bed when I'm teaching them. But it's, hello, teacher Loren, and I had one little girl who will draw pictures, and she's so excited to show me her pictures. And, this is you, this is me. And,
right. Oh, so sweet. Yeah. Just like you get in the classroom, which is one of the sweetest things. So there is that connection that you get. It just takes some time to build up some regular clients, but then people start looking for you. That's pretty fabulous then, because that's one of the things I love about being in the classroom is that connection. And it really is an important piece of teaching, is that you get to know your students, and you just love that. If you didn't have that piece, I think it would feel a little sad.
Yes, it would. And I do. I would say I definitely probably have at least 8 that I can probably think of that I teach at least once a week or once every other week. And a lot of them will get on a schedule. And then I actually have a little boy who, when I went on maternity leave, I haven't seen him since. And it makes me kind of sad. I have no way to reach out to them to say, hey, come back.
Right.
But I had taught him twice a week for almost a year. And then I went on maternity leave, and schedules, I guess, have probably changed.
Sure.
When I came back, I've not seen him, and it kind of makes me a little sad that
Sure.
he might have even moved on to level 3 now, and I'm not currently teaching that. But
Right.
you get that connection, and it's wonderful to have.
Okay, so you talked about the time difference. So you're morning and they're going to bed. So what time of day are you teaching? I mean, is it crazy hours for you, or is it reasonable to be able to teach?
So I'm in Montana. So mine is a little different than my friends who teach on the East Coast. I have several friends who teach on the East Coast. But for me, I currently teach from 4:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. I originally was teaching till 7, but China has made a law now that window, students are not allowed to take online classes because China feels it is too late in the evening for them. So I actually lost a block of time that I was teaching. And then when the time changes, my schedule changes as well. But currently I teach from 4:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. And then a lot of times I will teach Friday evenings and Saturday evenings, which would be their Saturday and Sunday mornings.
Got it. Okay. Got it. So there's lots of options. So if evening's better for you, you could do evenings. And if morning's better for you, you could do mornings. So there's some options there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
There is.
Awesome. Okay. So just tell me a little bit about what VIPKid has meant to you and to your family.
Well, honestly, it has allowed me to stay home with my children. I now have an almost 5-year-old and an 8-month-old, something I had dreamed that I wanted to do when I was younger, but in North Carolina, never thought it possible. So that has just been life-changing for me. There's just such precious time with your young kids. And again, when we moved here, I was trying to think of every avenue that I could to make a little extra money. And this is wonderful because they're not up at 4:30 in the morning. So I'm not even missing time with them.
You're not taking any time away from your family. I think that is one of the beauties of it if you have young children, is you can work around their nights and daytime and right? Yeah, you're not even missing out.
I'm sacrificing a little sleep, but what mom doesn't sacrifice sleep.
Right.
So, that's not really that big of a deal to me as being able to stay home with them. So yeah, I mean, honestly, that's been the biggest benefit, is being able to be with my boys and stay home with them at this time.
Wonderful. Okay, so quick question for you too. Then you do a little bit of in-person tutoring as well. Is that correct?
I do a little bit.
Okay.
And I do a lot of it, honestly, with the children that I nanny, which is how I get, again, the teaching. The teaching. You just can't take the teaching out of me.
So do you think that teaching with VIPKid has changed your teaching style then too? Do you think that it will influence that? When I know eventually you want to go back to the classroom when your kids get older, do you think that it will influence your teaching style or has influenced your teaching style?
I found myself doing a lot more TPR with my son, with the kids that I tutor. I had one little boy that I was tutoring, and I honestly do not remember exactly what we were working on, but he was not getting it. He was not getting it. He was not getting it. And just had this epiphany. I started putting actions to every single thing that I was saying to him. And within a couple of days, he had it. He just, that, physical memory. And as a teacher, I should know it, and I normally do know it.
Right.
But it is now a little more in the forefront of my mind to use that. Sure. And I never honestly had a name for it, TPR, just called it, do the motions.
Right.
That has definitely helped. And then my son, I find, he's not watched me teach children, but when I'll do some of these mock lessons to get certified in other ones, I'll find him doing his own little TPR, and as he's like talking to me or trying to tell me something, and it's kind of cute. Working with the students in China just honestly makes me realize that all students are the same.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what country, some are eager learners, some are not eager learners, some are full of energy, and some. I have one that just sits there and just kind of stares at me and just repeats after me and has, kind of no emotion on his face. And it kind of makes me laugh because I can remember it, and a student that I had that was just like that.
Yeah.
And halfway around the world, but all kids are exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, kind of humbling to think about.
Right. Well, and kids are kids, right? It's just the way it is. And you're going to get them all in every situation. And this isn't any different. And isn't it funny that we expect it to be different, but somehow, there it is. You think, oh, no, they really are just kids.
Yep. They teach me stuff, too. I had an older girl one time. She was able to have a conversation with me. We were really working on the conversational part of English. And we were talking about where she would like to travel.
Oh, wow.
And so, I thought I would just kind of get typical answers, the beach or the mountains or, America. But she was very specific. She said she wanted to go to the Pink Lake in Australia.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was kind of like, am I hearing her right? The Pink Lake in Australia. And she explained to me, she said, yes, it's a lake in Australia and it is pink. I was like, really? So I Googled it on my phone, and sure enough, there is a lake in Australia that is just the brightest pink.
Oh,
and
funny.
I said, thank you so much for teaching me that.
That's funny.
It's fun to, just like anywhere else, they can teach you stuff too, but I kind of want to go to the Pink Lake in Australia now. I was kind of fascinated by it.
Exactly. That's funny. And that's interesting because that's exactly what happens in the classroom too, isn't it? So it isn't all that different. Yes, there's some different modalities that we've got going on, but the reality is it's still kids and it's still teaching.
It is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they're a lot of fun no matter what. They just are. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They are a lot of fun.
So, okay, can you tell teachers how to tell if VIPKid or similar programs are right for them? And I think you have a freebie for them too, so you can talk about that as well.
I do, and I did not put the freebie in front of me, but I made a quiz because, as I said at the beginning of the show, I applied to VIPKid, and it took me almost a year to take the second step. After my application, I probably for every week or 2 weeks, I would get an email from VIPKids. Are you ready to do your, second part of the application? Are you ready to do your interview? It scared me, to be quite honest. I didn't know what to expect. And so for a year, I let those emails come in till I moved here to Montana. And like I said, my mom knew somebody who was, and I got on the phone and I asked her my questions that I had.
Sure.
And so I kind of took all those questions that I had and narrowed them down to 15 and kind of made a quiz that anybody can take, and it's just ask simple questions. And at the end, it gives you a little score, almost like in the 17 magazines back in the day.
Oh, wait.
It'll rank you and tell you how likely it is that you would be a good fit for VIPKid.
Nice.
Honestly, I believe that in your heart, in your gut, if it's the right fit for you. If you're somebody like me who's going round and round and round, and it's in the forefront of your brain all the time and you're thinking about it, most likely you just need to take the leap, take the step.
Right.
Don't wait a year like me. Honestly, my cousin has been accepted, and all she needs to do is to teach her first class, but she's not done it yet. She's got 4 children, and life kind of took a turn after she did the application, but she now has a job waiting for her
when
she
she's
just
ready.
Needs to,
sure.
Say, yes, I'm ready. So there's really no downfall to applying and giving it a try.
Sure. Yeah, it sounds like they're very patient then too. So it doesn't like there's a timeline, and if your life goes haywire, because life happens and we know that, then it sounds like you can just pick it up wherever it is you need to pick it up, which is awesome.
Exactly.
So, okay, so we'll make sure we link to that in the show notes for everybody. So what are the steps to getting started? What are maybe 2, 3, 4 steps to get started?
Well, the first thing, there's a bunch of information out there, honestly, about VIPKids, and it can be quite overwhelming. I've actually written 3 blog posts about my VIPKid journey, starting from the very beginning. I know it's my blog post, but honestly, I would recommend those 3 posts as a great place to kind of start. The posts share my fears, they share my trepidations, and then later I talk about the pros and cons that I have of joining VIPKids.
Thanks.
So those 3 blog posts is kind of a compilation of everything you can kind of find on the internet in one place. There's a lot of YouTube videos and things like that. I have helped quite a few people get started with VIPKids and will share with anybody my top 3 videos that I found on YouTube. Because if you go and Google VIPKid,
there's
videos,
a million.
There's a million.
Yeah, I know. I did that research. I thought, oh, yeah. And they're all over the map, too.
They are.
So some are newer, some are older. And it's hard to sort out what's what when you go through and look.
There is. And that is one of the things that's stopped me for a year of from going any further. So honestly, I would not go and do, quite so much research. Find somebody that maybe has the background in it, or reach out to me. I really would love to help anybody just because I'm such an advocate for it, and it's just changed my life so much. Take the 15-question quiz as well, just to find out if it's right for you. But if you're ready to take the plunge, I have a link that you can click on, or you can just go to the VIPKid website. And the very first thing, they're just going to ask typical, name, date, birthday kind of information.
So basic information. Okay.
They'll get right back to you. They got back to me within 24 hours and said, now you can continue on to your mock interview. Don't wait a year. Just say, okay, I'm ready for that, and keep the process going. Quite frankly, it's very streamlined. It's they have the process down pat, but I really would say find a mentor that can help you, because it will feel overwhelming. The hardest part of VIPKids was honestly getting hired, not because it was hard, but because it was overwhelming. Now, the job is easy. The job is wonderful.
Right.
And I look back and say, all those nervous habits that I had during my mentor teaching lessons and things like that were nothing compared to, the benefits that I have.
Sure.
Just like when you're a first-year teacher and you're standing in front of your principal, nervous that you're, going to do something wrong, you have to get over those jitters, but it's so worth it in the end.
Wonderful. Okay, so what kind of equipment or supplies might you need?
Honestly, you just need a laptop or a desktop computer, and a headset is very beneficial, although you do not need a headset to apply. They understand, but I have a $9 headset from Walmart, I think is what I'm wearing right now, and it works phenomenal. That is pretty much all you need to start applying. Once you start teaching, they would like you to have kind of a pretty background or something like that, so students feel like they're semi in a classroom. Right now, you can see mine. It doesn't quite have anything on it because we're getting ready to have guests, and I kind of took my stuff down.
I know they can't see this because this is audio, but I could see it. I agree. It is plain back there. And I have seen your background too, so I know it's cute. And it's almost like just do a bulletin board or something behind you. Is that correct?
It is. Yep. Just hang. A lot of times I'll just hang a couple of stars. Everything I've ever bought for VIPKid has come from the Dollar Tree or my headset from Walmart. Nice. I have not spent a lot of money on this project at all.
Right.
I've just made the money, which is wonderful.
Well, and you can print things off on your computer too and cut them out. So that makes it easy as well.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. So you're available if anybody needs help to help them get up and running as well. It's nice to have someone to walk you through it, because I have heard the process can be a little overwhelming. It's not because it's difficult, is what I hear. It's truly just that there's just so many pieces, and they are very specific about how they want you to teach. Now, they do offer, and correct me if I'm wrong, they do offer some ways that you can practice and train and be ready and prep ahead of time, and they have some classes for you to take. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, they will send you the lesson that you are to teach ahead of time. And so you can take as much time as you want to prepare. I had 2 friends just within the last couple of months that went through that, and they sent me their lesson, and we would FaceTime, and I would be the student. I just pretended to be one of the students, and they taught that lesson, and I just helped them, with their TPR. One of my friends used a lot of extra language, and so I reminded her, don't use all those extra words. Focus strictly on the vocabulary.
Right.
And so we were able to, work it out. And again, they got over their jitters, and they both were hired. So.
Nice. If you don't pass your interview the first time, can you retake it?
Yes, you sure can.
Nice.
The mentor will give you feedback and let you know what you did wonderful on and what you need to work on. And so I actually had one of my friends, that's exactly what happened to him. She said, here's what they said I need to work on. And so we FaceTimed, and we kind of worked her through that. And second time round, she did great.
Awesome. So there's lots of opportunity. They certainly make the process doable. Awesome.
They do.
Okay. All right. Well, Loren, I can't thank you enough for joining my show. Where can my listeners find you?
I have a website. It is gluesticksandgames.com. I'm also on Instagram with that same handle, gluesticksandgames.com. Pinterest, gluesticksandgames.com.
Awesome.
So I have a blog that originally started as kind of a travel blog when I moved out here to Montana, and it has kind of morphed into more of a mommy blog, preschool teacher type of blog. And again, it's got a couple of blog posts about VIPKids on there as well.
Wonderful. So we'll link to that in the show notes, and we'll also link to your 15 simple questions as well, your little freebie. I think we'll link to that as well. And that's it, my friends. So all of that will be in the show notes. We'll make sure we get all of those links for you so that you can make sure you can find Loren if you wants to explore VIPKid further in the near future. That's it. We're out of time. I'm out of breath. I don't know about you, Loren, but thanks so much for joining me today. If you like thank you. If you like today's episode, I'd love it if you go to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen and leave a review. While you're there, hit the subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode. Also, you can continue the conversation with me online through social media and on my website. I am at Lisa J. Burns on Pinterest and H.O.P.E Education on Facebook. Those links will be in the show notes as well. There's a link to Loren's page, and don't forget that there'll also be a link to her freebie as well. You can find the show notes on my website at www.hopeineducation.com/podcast. And remember, a happy teacher is a good teacher. Until next time, teach joyfully and take care of you.